Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is September 22nd. Right now we're looking at the state of California right here. You can see this atmospheric river burrowing into western British Columbia and pretty moist air mass associated with this spreading across some of the Pacific Northwest. We'll take a look at what's going on with the marine layer here. We'll take a look at the extended forecast. Looks like we might have an offshore wind event lurking off in the extended. We'll continue to watch that coming up here. We'll see if these frontal systems that are going to move down into the Pacific Northwest are going to have any impact on California weather as well. So let's take a look at that marine layer yesterday. I'm going to scroll back and forth here and you can see it bobbing and weaving and burning off for most areas, but not all. You can see some places towards Santa Barbara County did not break out. Some of the central coast here and up towards the Bay Area also did not fully break out there yesterday. We go into the overnight hours. We emerge back into towards this morning and you can see that marine layer pushes its way back in there. So kind of fun watching that going back and forth on the GOES 18 satellite imagery. If we take a look at thunderstorm activity, none expected today for the state of California, as you can see. And I checked on this station right here, just north of Morro Bay along Highway 1. And just kind of look at the UV index here. It's got a nice UV index sensor to solar radiation. And so it's kind of fun to watch that ebb and flow as you go through the days. And you can check sea level pressure and you can graph the stuff, stores it all for you in the cloud. It's got a lightning detection system with it as well. So I highly recommend this station. If you want a home weather station, click on that link down below to save 10%. So let's take a wider look at things. You got the Hawaiian Islands to the bottom left. There's the state of California. There's that upper level low that we dealt with for about 3 days. Ridge building in here, and that's what's allowing us to warm back up across much of the region. And we scroll on into the early portion of next week. This really shouldn't be any kind of impact on our weather, but this will suppress the temperatures. You can see this frontal system moving into the Pacific Northwest, probably in the midweek time period there, and then a stronger system into western British Columbia. But you can see it doesn't have that much of an impact here on the state of California, but it may impact us in some other ways. I'll show you more on that here in a moment. But look at the precipitation map. I'll show you that we're not dealing with anything here in the meantime. Then the first frontal system may clip some areas of very extreme northwestern California there. We'll watch that and see if that changes here over the next couple of days. And that stronger system rolls in, but it may stay just north of California there. So we'll be watching. This goes 144 hours out. This would be next Friday night, for example. So looking at the fire smoke before we go into the extended forecast really quickly, it looks like there are some active fires here across southwestern Oregon that could be spreading some smoke as we go through tonight across portions of northern California, especially some of the coastal areas as well. So if you smell some smoke, that would be the reason for that. And yeah, kind of interesting there. I don't know the name of that fire, but it does look like it's producing smoke as we go on into the next couple of days. So heads up for that. Relatively speaking, the rest of the state is doing quite nice for this time of year. Now we're looking here at sea level pressure. We're looking at yesterday afternoon's European model run here. We're going to scroll on into the future and you'll see the frontal system. And I'm moving through here on Wednesday. Lower pressure moving through British Columbia there. Then that next stronger system rolls up towards Vancouver Island on some of the model runs here. Another strong frontal system. Will that get down towards Northern California? Maybe, maybe not, but it will help suppress the temperatures at times. Then we scroll a bit off further into the future and you can see, look at this pressure gradient here, the higher pressure over the Pacific Northwest versus the lower pressure over California. That could start to bring some offshore winds. And as we scroll a little bit further on, you can see a pretty good pressure gradient. I mean, you're talking about 4, 8, 12 millibars here from the Oregon border down towards some of the foothill areas of the Sacramento Valley. So that could be driving some powerful offshore winds. This is something we've been watching off and on for the last few days. And this continues to show up in the model runs as we go. And if any more of that high pressure gets down here, of course, it's going to tighten that gradient and allow for stronger offshore winds. So that is something we're watching here as we go on towards the very end of the month coming up in September. Now, I went ahead 204 hours out. This is about Monday morning, all the way over a week ahead from where we are now. But you can see some of these strong northeast and north winds ripping down across the area. And if I scroll back and forth, you can kind of see how that offshore wind pattern will probably start maybe very early next weekend. So that's what we'll be watching to see what's going to happen with that. Now, if I go to 210 hours, you can clearly see these northeast and north winds here ripping across Northern California. Not showing too much for Southern California just yet, but we will be watching. You can see at the very end of the run here, we are getting a little bit of offshore wind action. So yeah, something interesting to watch in our extended. This is daily 2-meter max temperature. This is for today. Check it out. Lots of 90s out there, some upper 90s for the north portions of Sacramento Valley. Desert areas warming up nicely. And if you don't like that heat, you go out to the coastal areas, which is pretty typical here, much cooler than the inland areas. Then we go through tomorrow, Monday. Look at this 100 for Redding, maybe upper 90s down towards Bakersfield. Then we go through Tuesday, and then by the time we get towards Wednesday, you can see the temperatures get suppressed a little bit as that frontal system bringing some clouds down into our area and reducing our heights 500 millibars and allowing us to cool down a bit. There's Thursday, there's Friday, a little bit of a bounce back there, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then who knows what's going to happen after that. We're looking too far out in the crystal ball at this point. Looking at the 6 to 10 day, you can see as we go through October 1st, still that above average for much of California and the southwest USA. Some of that below normal temperature readings start to show up for the Pacific Northwest. Look at this below average signal for a lot of the West as well. But again, we'll be revisiting that and seeing how that plays out. And if you guys want to help support the channel here, for example, these moisture wicking t-shirts, you get them adult, women's, or children, or what have you, and there's some cool designs on there. And by the way, if you have any new designs you want me to put on some of these t-shirts, I may do that. But yeah, I own a couple of these as well. The men's and the women's premium hoodies are quite nice also. So yeah, if you want to do that, click on that link down below. Should be right below the video there. But otherwise, hope you guys are having a good day. We'll continue to watch what's coming up in the future here in the extended forecast, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.